Hey everyone, Selina here. Welcome to this week's episode of Selina Thomas, SCV's HR Guru, where I have the great privilege and honor to bring you the stories on behalf of the Signal of the businesses in our community and the people behind them. This exclusive episode is with longtime resident and innovator behind the Santa Clarita River Lake project. John Pramik saw something and said something. Not only did he say something, but he acted upon a vision that now is really on the cusp of coming to life. The nature-based solution, an innovative concept, not only brings the issue of the drought to the forefront, but it creates a solution, all while beautifying and creating an opportunity for our community to come together. The presentation that you will see, and of course our conversation, will give you the initial concept, but certainly we all as a community have the opportunity to come together and get behind this solution that will serve everyone. If you have a person, a business, or a concept that you would like featured on the show, feel free to reach out to Selina Thomas, SCV's HR Guru, and I'd be happy to feature it. In the meantime, enjoy this episode and continue to stay safe.
My name is John Pramik. Santa Clarita has been my home since 1994, where I raised my family. However, we have an immediate problem with serious consequences. The California drought has created a desperate situation for our state. Water is life. Our economy depends on it. We cannot survive without water. Since our weather patterns have changed, we need to adjust. It is going to rain. And when it does, it will be fast moving. When it rains in our city, it pours, and the water runs off very quickly. The problem is that most of it drains into the ocean. But this time we will be ready. We will harvest it. There is a new way to harvest and store huge amounts of rainwater very, very quickly for our valley. This new water storage system is called Santa Clarita River Lake. We can use the Santa Clara River both as a lake and a river to store water. When the river lake fills up, water will flow over and run downstream as it does now. When it does rain, we will be able to harvest and store this precious rainwater as a low-level reservoir in the center of our city. It will be used for emergency firefighting, recreation, sailing, and a home for our endangered species, especially the unarmored stickleback fish. Santa Clarita River Lake will also create a beautiful ecological environment, supporting thousands of trees, birds, frogs, butterflies, and our endangered species. During our dry season, clean recycled water from our very own Saugus water treatment plant will maintain the water level of our Santa Clarita River Lake. This is a picture of our river now. And this is a picture of the river lake we can have. Is this impossible? The greatest American achievements of the last 20 years would have been considered crazy and impossible. This is a huge endeavor. It cannot be accomplished alone. Help and collaboration will be needed from our citizens, businesses, and schools. Help will also be needed from our environmental groups, including SCOPE and the Sierra Club. Here is my model and vision for the Santa Clarita River Lake project. So here is the river lake. I built it at 1/1600th scale, and I'm going to give you your bearings here right now. Here's Bouquet Canyon, here's Best Buy, here's Lowe's, here's a Newhall Ranch Road, comes back around, going down to the Bridgeport Park and Bridgeport, past Bridgeport to McBean Bridge, and then back around. Here's Creekside and the car dealers. Here is the baseball fields, and Mercedes-Benz, BMW. Here's Valencia Boulevard coming back around to Bouquet Canyon. The water is flowing down here through the main part of the Santa Clara River. It's also being fed by the Bouquet Canyon Creek, and it's being fed by the South Fork that, as you know, comes from Canyon Country and the 5 freeway. So all this water comes through when it rains. It backflows here at the dam. This dam is only about 13 feet high. and it's a hydraulic dam, so it goes up and down very quickly. So if we had a 100-year flood, we'd just put it down and the water would go right through. If this does fill up to the top of the dam is curved on the top, and the water goes right over and down the river as it normally would anyway. This is a half mile from here, the Big McBean Bridge, to the back of the baseball diamonds and BMW. It's a half mile. This is a rubber dam, and it fills up and can be filled up and deflated in 30 minutes. It's made by Bridgestone. And basically, it backfills to here. The River Lake is 90 surface acres, and it's about 900 acre-feet of water. So we're going to keep the water level up by using the Saugus Canyon Water Reclamation Plant right here. It puts out 4.6 million gallons of water a day, clean water, into the river, and we can use that to keep this full. If you're a bike rider and you ride underneath the Bouquet Canyon Bridge, you'll see the water gushing out there. It's amazing. So we could use that to keep the lake full in the summer when it's really hot. So the lake would be 12 feet to 6 feet. So it's perfect conditions for the unarmored stickleback fish. In addition, I put an island in where we can have fireworks and also day trips on your sailboat. You can go to the island and have a picnic. Thank you.
John.
Selina, how are you?
I'm great. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. I'll be there. I'll be there.
Oh, wow. I mean,
good morning.
Thank you so much. That will definitely wake you up and have you excited. I can't tell you how many people have sent me DMs about this show. I promoted it for the last week or so.
Fantastic.
Quite the buzz. And so this opening is perfect.
Fantastic. I'm making sure I shut everything down here on my end.
Well,
so, yeah, how did your shoot go?
Wonderful. Thank you. And I love working in this community because there's so many great business owners that will lend themselves to you and their talents. And Lindsay Schlick of Schlick Art, her and Brian are amazing. They've been.
Lindsay did the shoot?
Yeah, Lindsay was.
Yeah, she's great.
I mean, so great. You just know that you're going to get exactly what you want, and then she's leveled me up. So yes, I can't say enough about her.
Yeah, she's great. I'm just getting to know her. Yes. We did an event together 2 years. Everything's 2 years, right?
Yes.
2 years ago, we did the Academy Awards together in Hollywood.
Wow.
We did the pre-party for the Academy Awards together. I played grand piano, a white grand piano in this big room in the center of the room. And she was with her husband working the room like crazy, and it was awesome. And I just started talking to her, and it says, "You're from Santa Clarita? What do you mean?" And she knew. Yes. We all knew the same people. So
hey,
it was really cool.
6 degrees. That's why.
So I'm getting to know her. I'm getting to know you too.
Yeah. Well, that 6 degrees is real, right? We all find out really quickly how closely we're connected.
Yeah, that's true. 6 degrees.
Like 1 to 2 to 3 degrees. It's quick. So
yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. Really so that's why it was great to name my company that, and finally get connected with you. I have to tell you that when I got the invitation to come to the presentation, not having any idea of what I was going to see, I was truly not only blown away, but just inspired by your willingness to lend yourself in the way that you are, not just musically to our community, but in this innovative idea, knowing that this drought is ultimately going to impact everybody that lives here and beyond.
Everyone, in every way. Businesses, personal lives, businesses, factories.
Yes.
So many things that we have are made using water. It's just it's countless. It's endless, and it's $1.3 trillion. The California economy is $3.4 trillion. We have a bigger economy than India. In California, 1.3 trillion of that budget or that market is based on water. 1.3 trillion. So, what can I say?
I'm going to put us on Do Not Disturb really quick. So hang tight. If you see me off the screen, it's just speak for a second. I can edit all this in post. So bear with me. I just want to.
You got
take this off really quick, just so we don't have any disruptions. I completely forgot about that. Bear with me.
There we go.
Do not disturb. And I'm back. Okay.
Yeah, that's great. And you were breaking up a little bit about a minute ago. You were breaking up, and now it's clear.
Yes, and so I think some of that has to do with just making.
Yeah, I see. Every once in a while it breaks up. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So one of the things I wanted to do, I mean, when we air this, we'll be opening up with your presentation. So people, by the time this conversation starts, they'll have had a snippet of what your innovative idea and concept is. But I want to get into the.
Well, you're going to open with my video.
Correct.
Oh, got it. Okay. Good to know.
And then we'll get into the interview part. And so
gotcha.
In this part, I wanted to ask you, and I know during the presentation you touched on a little bit, but what inspired you? I know you've looked in other areas where this concept is successful, not just created, but is successful for its community. But what drove you to want to bring this to Santa Clarita, introduce it, and have it be something everyone needs to think about?
It's called, if you see something, say something.
Wow. Right. As simple as that.
At the airport, out on the street.
Yes.
Or
in your community.
The drought. I saw something, I said something. And I kept saying it to myself.
Yes.
I couldn't sleep anymore.
That was so key. And it's as simple as that. But, we've had that in history. We've had that in the world where, Noah's building an ark. He's like, this flood's coming. Right?
Oh my gosh. That's a great
analogy for you, but in reverse, right? We need this water.
Isn't that funny? In reverse. Oh my God. Noah's Ark in reverse. That's a great visual. Great visual.
Sorry about that. That being said, just understanding the concept. So help me in the most simplistic way understand that we already have kind of the logistics of it in terms of the landscape, correct? From your board behind you, I can see that we have the Santa Clarita River, but it's dry.
Right.
So
Santa Clarita River. Yes. And I'm sorry, what did you say?
So take it from there in terms of using that area to serve in this way and beautify and help endangered species. And there's just so many things that will really spawn from this.
Yeah. I mean, after our 6-year drought, it was from 2011 to the end of 2016. So basically call it 2011 to 2017. It started raining at the very end of 2016. And we had all, you and everyone in Southern California, get beaten over the head by save water, save water, save water. Mm-hmm. And eventually they were getting ready to introduce a 75-gallon limit per family per day. They were getting ready to roll that out. They didn't know how they were going to do it, but it was going to be very tough. And then it started raining about the middle of November of 2016, and then it rained through December, then it rained through January and February and March, and we ended up getting between 15. I'm sorry?
That we had El Nino at that time.
I guess you would call it that. Yeah, it's called a Nino. It's called a river in the sky. It's called the Hawaiian Express. It can be called an ark storm from Noah's Ark, like you just said. Mm-hmm. When they line up, they're an ark storm, and that can be very dangerous. Right. But we started getting rain, and I decided to get my little umbrella. I mean, a little umbrella. Bradley covers my head, okay? And I went out. I parked over next to Lowe's. I thought, I'm going to walk out on the bridge during the rainstorm. I'm going to walk out on the Bouquet Canyon Bridge and just see, I mean,
where does it go?
How much water go in that? And from the visuals that you saw from the presentation, it was millions and millions of gallons of water. I'm thinking, wow. I mean, I'm the son of an engineer, so I guess maybe some of that came back to me because I'm a musician. Mm-hmm. But to see all that water leaving our city, and if I take my little umbrella and jump off the bridge and land in my canoe, I'm going to end up in the Pacific Ocean.
Right. Right.
And it just doesn't make sense to me. Where we can hold that fresh, clean water back for our city, create a lake and a river, and at the same time, also the backflow of that will permeate into our Saugus Aquifer, which is an incredibly beautiful aquifer that we have, that we're blessed to have in our Santa Clarita Valley. Yeah. And a lot of it lays underneath the river, and it's fantastic. So not only can we have a river, a lake and a river, with rain harvested water, but we can also recharge our aquifer with that same system.
Right. Again, creating so many opportunities for that preservation of water, which is precious commodity, right, that we
Yes.
all need.
Right.
And then, of course, in the presentation, there's an opportunity to save an endangered species that you were talking about.
Yes, exactly. Endangered species. Yeah.
Yes.
We're getting also, we've all, if you've talked to any leader in our community, any leader or many people too, they know about the unarmored 3-spine stickleback fish.
Yes.
I mean, we've all been hearing about that for years. Well, I decided to study the fish. Lorraine told me, you better study that fish and find out more about it if you're going to be doing this. So 3 years ago, I started studying the fish.
Wow.
But the fish is actually a prehistoric fish, and it went from armored to unarmored in 20 years, which is unheard of. It usually takes about 100 or 1,000 years to go that far. Anyway, it's got a peculiar, a very interesting life and we should study it. And if we have this river lake, we can grow them in mass amounts and save them, and also study them and see how they become how they've been able to progress so quickly,
right,
where things normally don't happen that fast.
and just all the other elements to beautifying our community.
Right.
We talked a little bit about when I was there, and I'm a homeowner in this community, how we would, I'm assuming, elevate the value of the homes in the surrounding areas of where you have it mapped out. In addition to that, just drawing just a different level of energy when you're talking about sailing and people being out and the recreation and the commerce that could be on the edge of it. Having heard a lot about what happened in other cities, let's talk about Oklahoma City and Tempe. You use those as examples in your presentation, and that was very impressive.
Well, you've got a really good memory. You are a very good listener. I started to talk about it in 2017 when I started to drew drawings. Don't ask me why. I started to do drawings, and I met with different people, and I met with Ken Striplin and showed him ideas of how can we slow it down or hold it back or something. Right. Can we do something to keep it? What can we do? I don't know. He was wonderful. He let me talk. He let me say my piece.
He was open.
And then I met with our other city council leaders. And again, this is just drawings and a piece of cardboard.
Sure.
Okay. And respectfully, they listened to me, which is quite cool because they can just, I don't have time. I'll blow you off,
Mm-hmm.
But we live in that kind of town.
We do.
So, and so anyway, the drawing went to the model. The model was on and on and on. And then I kept studying and trying to figure out before the model. I tried to figure out, wait a minute, how can I hold this back? I can hold this back. And I kept searching on the internet and trying to think, has anybody else done anything like this or what's going on? And I stumbled on the Tempe Town Lake, and I went out and visited them, visited the government out there. I visited some of the city leaders and said, how did you do this?
Sure.
And it blew me away. And that led me to Oklahoma City also, which they have done the same thing. Tempe Town Lake is 2 miles long, and it has rocked their world.
Transformed it.
It has transformed their world like you could never even imagine.
And was this a community where it was 1 cent to taxpayers?
Oh, the city of Oklahoma, they had a ditch running through their city. It was a huge river bed, but it was just a ditch of mud running through the city. It was terrible. And it was they decided to do something, to take a risk, to do something really, really cool. And so they created a 1 cent tax, and they were able to build a 7-mile river lake in the center of their city. And they are known throughout the world now as a training for the Olympics, for water sports, for longboat racing, for all the type of racing that you see.
Yes.
And if you would have asked them 15 years ago that they were going to be an Olympic water sport
training facility
central, they would have said, call the police and put this guy in jail.
Yeah, because we have a ditch right now. And now
I'm sorry.
We had a ditch once upon a time, and now we
Yes.
have a
Yeah.
training facility
Yeah.
for our Olympians.
It is on yes, on there's a program called what is it called? But anyway, like Earthlink, and you can go back in
Yes.
time. It's called Time Machine.
Right.
You can
Right.
go back in Time Machine and see the same area
That
where you
landscape.
lived, or
Mhm.
these areas where they're building incredible things. You can see them before and after, and it's jaw dropping.
Yeah. And so obviously that vision for our community, right? And for the
Exactly
issue that
right.
we have,
Exactly right. Yeah.
why not?
Yeah. Or can we do it?
Can we do it?
Is it feasible? Yes, it is feasible. Engineering wise, it is feasible. Okay, but there are a lot of other feasibles that have to be
Yes.
have to be crossed too.
Sure.
We've got a lot of barriers, and again, this is a vision of a project that I've studied and I've seen work. So it has to be adapted to the area where it is. We are
Absolutely.
very much different from Oklahoma City. We are very much different from Tempe, Arizona. We're very different, and it's got to be adapted. And I've adapted it to make it viable and feasible
For this community.
for our city.
Amazing. And so since you've presented it, I know that you were about to launch the visibility of this online,
Right.
which is part of why we're doing this show.
Yeah. And I'm grateful. Thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely. I could not wait. And I want to know what's next in terms of that continued grassroots, if you will,
Exactly right.
movement about this vision. What is your next
I
step?
have no money. This is literally grassroots. I'm a musician.
Mhm.
I had an idea. I decided to put the idea on paper. Okay.
Sure.
We all have great ideas.
Yes.
We all have great ideas,
And
but we
vision.
don't follow through with them. Same with me.
Mhm.
But I found one that I followed through with that made sense
Sure.
to me, that gave me a passion to finish and promote and say, what if?
And pursue.
Yeah.
Sure.
What if we made the light bulb work? What if Henry Ford made the assembly line work? I mean, I don't know.
The
He
Wright
took a
brothers.
risk. The
Yes.
Wright brothers,
Sure.
they had no money, no education, no nothing.
And
they
so
beat out.
now we're looking for
Yeah.
people in terms of civil engineers, people that can see this vision in the scope of practice that they have.
Yeah.
To do that. And you've talked to other communities, and of course they've had to lend, we're not reinventing the wheel, we're obviously modifying it to this
Correct.
community. And so
Yeah.
I shared that with you and some of the logistics that they've had to work through.
Yeah, I'm still finding that out. Obviously, there are going to be a lot of agencies involved.
Sure.
And it's complex, but you have to start the ball rolling down the hill. You have to
Yes.
get the ball rolling, and the concept is the first thing.
Sure.
A proven concept is the next thing. Engineering wise, it can work.
Mhm.
And it's just going to go on and on. Like I said, it's like you said, this is literally a grassroots effort, and you just go to SantaClaritaRiverLake.com.
Sure.
And then you can sign up there, and you just start sharing it. And we're on Twitter, and we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube,
LinkedIn.
and it's
Yes.
it's literally. I'm probably going to print out flyers and hand them out. I don't know. But
so I guess the next question would be, how does someone reach out and lend themselves to this project? If it's a specialty in engineering, or if it's, hey, listen, I lived in that community. I know as a homeowner that these were the things that we discussed. I mean, because you've got that as well. So when you have this
very
website,
good point.
what is the outreach? What is the expectation that you're looking for?
Yeah, well, the more I've had people starting to sign up on the bottom of SantaClaritaRiverLake.com, on the very bottom, you can sign up there.
Sure.
And obviously the more people that we get to know, then they tell other people, and then we can, and sorry.
And then the feedback happens.
I start getting feedback, which is very cool.
Yes.
And then say, hey, what about this? What about that? Okay, great. I mean, I can't do this all.
Right.
I started the idea. We're going to need a lot of help. It's the community, the school system,
Sure.
City council. It's going to take business leaders. Corporations are going to need to be involved. All these cities, Oklahoma City and Tempe, they created PPPs. It's private-public partnership. And this is the federal government. This involves the federal government, the state, the county,
Grants.
schools. I'm sorry, a grant. I'll have to get a grant too to get this going. Scope. I'm getting to know Scope very well. I'm getting to know
Sierra Club.
I'm sorry?
Sierra
The
Club.
Sierra Club with Sarah Cattell over
Yes.
at, and they're great people. They're
Yeah.
great people. That's what this is about. What they are is what I want to do.
Yes.
Create, a beautiful ecological environment. If you add water,
Yes.
everything else seems to take care of itself.
Well, that's life, right? Water is life.
Yeah.
It really represents life, and life in our community is important to both you and I. And the fact that you had the courage to share your vision and to put yourself out there is admirable. And I thank you for doing that and to highlight that and to encourage people to get involved and to lend themselves to this.
Absolutely.
in a way that they can. And I have to tell you, when I put it out there, many people said, what a great idea. I have not heard one negative comment. It was only about what's next. So I had to have you on the show because that's everyone's question is what's next, how. And so, of course, you're asking the same. And I think that's important that people know that, as, the power of one, but we need all of us to get involved in that.
Yeah.
And absolutely. I know that you have a great, advocate in our wonderful mayor, Bill Miranda, in just sharing this concept with other business leaders in our community. I loved the comments that were made and asked at the presentation by the Sierra Club and by other community members. And that's where things start.
It's very inspiring.
Yeah.
You put it out and it comes back. It's kind of cool.
That's good things, right? And so the nature-based solution was something that was mentioned by the representative from the Sierra Club, and I love that she educated us about what that looks like. And for you even were enlightened in that moment that she would say that that's what you would call this, a nature-based solution to drought, to other
there
things.
You go. I love that.
Right?
I love that. A nature-based solution. Yes. Yeah.
People need to understand and educate themselves on not only the problem but the solution. And so
exactly.
I'm so hopeful that this starts that for you and for our community. And what a gift that you've lent not just your musical talents to the world, but this innovative concept. And I wanted to congratulate you on making and taking that first step for all of us.
Thank you very much, Selina.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
So where can they, I know you mentioned before, I want to put it at the end of the show, but you wanting people to reach out, to communicate, give feedback, where do they do that?
Yeah, so go to Santa Clarita River Lake.com. And you can, if you scroll down, you'll see the video and then of my presentation, and then below that, then you'll see where you can sign up and you put your name and comments. And then we just start to share that, get that going. And then, we're Twitter and Instagram, that kind of thing too. So, we're getting it going. We're getting it going.
And so do you have any upcoming conversations with our city manager, as you mentioned before? Any opportunities to present this to city council, to the Sierra Club? What's next in terms of trajectory and promoting this?
In the last 3 years, I've met about 40 people over my house.
Okay.
Or I've gone to them with a model in my car. So when I put it in my car, I have to drive like this.
I remember you mentioned that.
But it fits behind me. Yeah, yes. It's 4 feet by 8 feet, so it's a little bit involved, but it's very light. It's all styrofoam. But I've met with about 40 people. I've met with senators, congressmen. I met with Garcia.
Amazing.
And I met with Senator Wilk, who's we have really great people that
we do.
They're forward-looking. They're forward-looking people, and they're saying, "Hey, I'll listen to your idea." Mm-hmm. Because we don't know what's going to work. If we have a lot of ideas, something's going to work. Yes. Maybe this.
And I know we found out. We talked to the right person. once you talk to the right person
Yeah.
in a lot of these situations is when
Yeah.
you go from 0 to 100. And I know this being in business, it took me aligning with the right people and surrounding myself and continuing to put myself out there that would make a difference. And so I encourage you to continue to do that. And I, of course, will be a huge megaphone for this as well.
That's
Definitely.
really cool. That's awesome,
Yes.
Selina.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to have the information at the end of the show. And I don't know, can you close us out with another song?
With a what?
With another song?
With a song. Well,
Can you close us out with another song? Nice. Oh, I love that. I love that. And you know, it's a perfect song. I'll be there. If you leave something like this in your community as a legacy, because it started with your vision, that is a fitting song for something like this. So
yeah.
thank you so much, John, for your inspiration and sharing that with others, because that's so meaningful, and it creates a great legacy. So I can't wait for this to air and for you to check back with you in a little while to see how things are going.
Sounds good, Selina.
Absolutely. It's so great to see you.
All right. Good to see you too.
We'll talk soon.